What's up, y'all? What's up, Katie? What's up, D-Ice Cold Wolf? What's up, Nay? What's up, Anthem? What's up, Chuck? I ain't seen Chuck in a minute. What's up, Mika? What's up, Crystal? What's up, Chaz? Khadijah, Venus, what's up? Antoine, what's up? What's up, T? What's up, Melissa? Oh, my bad, Chuck. What's up, Donna? Oh, this is Faithful by Lundy and featuring Wande. Put it in the chat. I believe it, Chuck. What's up, 6 Foot Goddess? What's up, Shanta? Thank you, Venus. What's up, Seeker Fi? What's up, Sunday? Sunday FO, Sundaya. I think the girl one day, she might be Nigerian. Let me look. Let me see. I think she's Nigerian. But the guys are from Texas. Lundy's from Texas, two brothers. Yeah, she's Nigerian American. Yeah. She was born in Nigeria. Jahan, what's up? King Tabernacle. I'm gonna get Jahan in a second. Kenya, what's up? I got her name in the comment. Wande. Her name is Mutit At Yawande Isola. Mutit At Yawande Isola. I think she lives in Austin. She from Austin, Texas. Said new jabs. New jab for honeybees. Yes, this is one day. Niger. One day. Niger. What y'all say? I don't know what tribe she from. What's up, DB? Oh yeah, check her out. You know, there's so much good music out there that's what they call non-secular. You know, it's some good music out there. Music we have now is, you know, most of it just demonic. Cardi B even admitted that one of the songs she didn't want to do was conjuring up demons. It's a cold game. And even Kanye mentioned they changed the frequency of the music, I believe, to open us up more. Let me have it's giving a Drake vibe. Yeah, they kind of they're heavily influenced by Drake because they have another song that's pretty good, but they're heavily influenced by Drake. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Chef Mimi? No, my bad. I'm sorry. Chalet Mimi, my bad. I don't know why I said Chef Mimi. Yeah, T, you know, your daughter, you said she got bomb music, but nobody listens. Yeah, because the way these people set it up is the music, you know, when they change the frequency to open us up more to the music, they made the music more demonic. So you got to guard your ear gates, really. You know, that's the main thing, is guarding your ear gates. You know, I was talking with somebody. I heard three things this week that just, I can't even say shocked me, but just like disappointed me. One person told me that I wanted the young man from Buffalo to pass away so I could be right. Another person said that it seems like I have a big ego. And someone else said that I was whining about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King because they lost their lives for the cause. So I want to address three of those comments right now. Well, first, I don't want anybody to die or perish. I don't wish any of this on anybody. I've been talking about this stuff for the past almost 3 years about what this stuff was going to be. So I have been trying to prevent this stuff from happening. But the people that are saying these things were the same folks telling me that I was wrong. The irony of someone thinking I want someone to die when I was the one trying to prevent the deaths in the beginning. And all I got was a bunch of flack and nonsense. Like, I called so many names, so many sellouts, so many bootlickers, so many you don't know nothing, so many Trump supporters, so many just all kind of just awful names. And now, when folks are dropping like flies, now I'm still the bad guy? It's just decadence. To the person that said, I'm into my ego or whatever, I guarantee that every person that most people like is ego driven. Most celebrities, most artists, most athletes, most people that people look up to are ego driven. But what the person's really saying is, I'm looking for an excuse not to listen to what you're saying. That's all. It's just an excuse, just decadence. You know, these people now, you give them a tiny sliver, they're going to take a mile. So it's not really that I'm into my ego. It's just when I speak with conviction. And so people take that as arrogance and they take that as ego, but it's really just conviction because I believe what I'm saying. Most people, they only sound convicted when they're talking about some nonsense. Most folks that aren't talking foolish, they don't really sound convicted because they don't really believe what they're saying. I sound convicted because I actually believe what I'm saying because I know it's true. I know it's God's word. To the last person saying that I was whining about MLK and Martin Luther King, I wasn't whining about them. I was just pointing out the fact that they weren't revolutionaries because they were on television every day. Like, even Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution won't be televised. So if you're a revolutionary, they're not going to put you on TV. That's just common sense. They're not going to put you on television if you're a revolutionary. And now we see a bunch of doctors and scientists losing their careers, a bunch of people losing their jobs, a bunch of people being ostracized from their families, from their friends. Now we see this huge shift in who the true revolutionaries are because the majority of society are against them. The majority of society are against a lot of you all. and it's going to come a point in time where you're going to be hated. Right now you're just disliked, but pretty soon you're going to be hated. You know, and I have some videos, you know, but everybody fights with their ego every day. This is not we all fight with our ego. You know, thanks for the quote, Chaz. Let me pin it. But, you know, somebody told me today at the gym, he said, we got to be willing to fight when we know we might not win. We got to have enough courage to fight when we know we might not win. When there's a strong possibility that we might not win, we should engage in those kind of fights. Because if you think about it, we're not going to win any fight without faith. We're not meant to. I'm not meant to win on my own in this world. Neither are you. We're meant to use faith. We're meant to please God with our faith. That's how we activate God, through faith. So nobody's meant to engage in these battles where all the odds are in our favor. Most folks only fight when all the odds are in their favor. That's why most countries, like you got like first world, second world, and third world. First world countries don't fight because they have too much to lose. Usually a first world country fights a third world country. So most people engage in conflicts that they have an advantage in. And then the person that's getting the conflict imposed on them, it really is a suicide mission. But even them engaging in that battle does show some sentiment of faith. And so we got to start engaging in these fights that require us to have faith. What we're up against now, I have a picture on the screen right here, and it says a year man becomes immortal, 2045. 2045 is a year that man becomes immortal. And you see a plug in the back of somebody's head. Like this is from Time Magazine. So you know what we're up against. We're up against the original plan of Satan. Like I said, it goes back to the garden. Eve wanted to be like God. And that's where this all came from. And so that same thing is what the devil plays on, is us wanting to be like God, us wanting to be immortal, us wanting to know everything. This is what the devil is playing on. So you think folks ain't going to be enticed to get the mark of the beast if they can live forever, never get sick, never be... You think folks ain't going to... I know people right now that's going to take the mark of the beast. Imagine these folks telling people you'll be able to be, and especially black folks, you'll be better than white people. They're going to take it. This is why your identity can't be entrenched in anything from this earth. It got to be of God. Because they're going to give you those kind of pitches. Think about women now. You're just as good as a man. You're better than a man. Like these are all things that feed the ego. Well, they think it's a conspiracy because to believe otherwise would expose them being cowards. Most people just doubt this stuff because they don't want to be seen as cowards. There's a good friend of mine, and I remember this, like it's yesterday. I remember going skydiving. If any of you going skydiving, it's a wonderful experience to go skydiving. But going up in the plane and the pre-skydiving stuff to me was excruciating. Like I was nervous, I was scared, I was actually terrified. All this stuff's going through my mind. And then that's just in the waiting area. Then I'm walking towards the plane, I'm getting more nervous. I'm like, should I turn back now? I'm walking, I keep going. I get on the plane and it's a bunch of people on the plane, a lot of young people on the plane. And I noticed that most of the skydivers were young people. Younger than myself. This is about 6 years ago. 6 years ago. And when you're in the plane, it's these little lights in the plane. When you reach 5,000 feet, it goes bing. 10,000 feet, bing. 14,000 feet, bing. So it lets you know when you're going up. And, with each bing, I'm just like, bing. I'm about to be getting hit. And mine will sound like a bell in a boxing match. Like I'm about to pass out. Bing, you wake up. Oh my goodness, 5,000 feet. Bing. So you can imagine the sheer just agony. Looking out the window, I'm like, oh goodness, it's just a lot. So, but I noticed that all the young people I'm looking at are excited. They're excited to jump out of the plane. Matter of fact, one girl's like, I want to go first. The white girl said, I want to go first. I think Paul Mooney says, I want to be free, white, and 21. And I saw it because all the white kids or whatever, they was ready to go. And so, of course, I got the daredevil, the guy jumping out with me. So I'm in the back. They're supposed to go in order. It's supposed to go the daredevils first, then me. And so I had a friend with me too. But anyway, so the first girl, she wants to go, so she scoots to the front. I want to go first. So she's scooting up. My guy tells me we're going second. I said, what? How are we going to jump 30 people? Like, we're going second. I'm like, oh, hold on. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So I didn't even get a chance to even process none of this stuff. So the girl goes up, they just jump out. Now he tells me, we're going on 3. I said, okay. He said, on count of 3, we going. He said, 1. After 1, we jump out. It wasn't no 3. So after 1, we jump out. I didn't even get my goggles on good. I had air shooting through I wasn't even really prepared to even jump out. Like I didn't even get none of that. So we in the air just, man, I'm talking about flipping. But the crazy part is, when you jump out the plane, you don't even have, your mind can't process the experience and fear. Your mind can't do both. This is how I know that God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, because in that moment, which should be the most death-defying moment of your life, you're 14 or 15,000 feet up in the air, that should be the scariest point of your life. At that moment, your mind can't even process being afraid and then being 14,000 feet up. It has to do one or the other. And at that moment, your mind's going to choose the experience over the fear. So we jump out the plane, and your mind can't even fathom how high you are. So I ain't even afraid. I'm just like, I need to get to my goggles, because one of my goggles, look, I'm in the air like, But, and he told me, you're not going to have that weightless feeling. You ever go on a roller coaster and you go up and then you drop down, but when your stomach goes to your chest, that feeling, that weightless feeling? He said I wouldn't experience that, right? This is what I was told. You're not going to experience that. I experienced that drop feeling the whole time we were dropping. So imagine a roller coaster feel. You like, but anyway. And so it's intense, right? But guess what? After about 30 seconds, or however long it was, I don't know how long it was falling, he pulls that cord, and when I tell you, it goes from turbulence to peace. Like, you got to think, when you're that high up, there's no sound. There's nothing up there making noise. Like, there's no sound up there because there's nothing making noise up that high. And it's just calm and peaceful. And you can see like all these states. And it's just like, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And the guy, like, this is beautiful. I was like, oh my goodness. Now imagine I was terrified to do it. Just for in the end of it, I'm in awe. I'm like, God is amazing. This is what I thought to myself. I said, this is freaking amazing. To be able to experience what it is to be this high in the sky. And I realized, I said, my goodness. I said, I almost cheated myself out of the experience because of fear. And the only thing that saved me was my own brain. My own brain chose the experience, because if it was up to me, I would have been scared the whole way. But my point is that God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. So the spirit of fear is coming from some other place. And the spirit of fear usually is coming from what we've flooded our eyes with and our ears with, who we've talked to, words we've spoken. All those things come to a boiling point when you're in that moment. Every fear, every anxiety, everything comes to a head at that moment when you're about to jump out of a plane. Because at that moment, the summation of who you are is revealed. You're about to jump out of a plane. Anything can go wrong. What if the chute doesn't deploy? Like, anything can go wrong. And so at that moment, the true person is exposed. And I ain't gonna lie, I was terrified. But I realized all of that fear paled in comparison to what I actually saw. And this is what I believe God is trying to get us to do, is try to let the fear go and rely on faith. Because when you rely on faith, you're going to jump out the plane and you know you're going to be safe. And I told somebody, a good friend of mine, I told him, I said, man, you got to do it, man. You're going to love it. And I saw it in his eyes. He was afraid. He said, nah, man, that ain't my thing. Jumping out of planes ain't really nobody's thing. It's something you just do. It ain't a thing. But when I told it to him, I saw fear in his eyes. And that same fear I saw then, kind of, I can see it today in a different way, if that makes sense. But I recommend anybody to go skydiving. I recommend anybody doing things that they're afraid of doing. Because again, fear is a spirit. And so what we're facing now is scary. I mean, we're up against Satan. Like, if you had any questions about Satan before, you shouldn't have them now. We know that Satan is real. Like, now we should know Satan is real. But what we're up against is scary. And there's no way for us to defeat what we're up against. We can only do it through God. Like, there's no way for us to physically beat these people or these entities in place, because we can't. We're out gunned outmanned, out technology, if that's a word, we out everything. So the only way to really defeat this foe is through faith, through God. Think about when God told them to go there and possess the land. And they said the giants down there though. Think about that. God said go and possess the land. Now clearly, God knows that giants are down there. But they saw the giants and they said, I think it's in Deuteronomy. I think. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess it. Go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them. I'm trying to find where they saw giants down there. If somebody give me that scripture, I'd like it. Okay, here it goes. Whither shall we go up? This is Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 28. Whither shall we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our heart, saying the people is greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to heaven, and moreover we have seen the sons of the Anakims there. So I imagine that what they saw was a very advanced civilization of people, probably very big, probably like, if you give you a context, like what Thanos is, like a Titan, advanced technology, walls around the city. So I imagine they look like they're outnumbered, like there's no way to win. But again, God told you to go possess the land. The only way to win this is going to be through faith. We're not going to win this fight by no other way. I don't care how many guns we get. I don't care. None of that stuff's going to matter. I don't care how many EMF blockers we get. I don't care. It ain't going to matter. I don't care what we come up with. They got something for it. And so the only way for us to win this battle is for us to have faith. Then I said unto you, dread not, neither be afraid of them. The Lord your God, which goeth before you, he shall fight for you, according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes, and in the wilderness, where thou hast seen how the Lord thy God bare thee, as a man doth bear his son, in all the way that ye went until ye came into this place. Yet in this thing you did not believe the Lord your God. So in other words, God is saying, I've proven myself. And most people don't ever get to see God prove himself to them because they never really believe. You see, most people play around with the scriptures, play around with church, play around with beliefs. So most people never actually really see the power of God manifest. They really only see glimpses of the blessings falling on the just and the unjust, not really, quote unquote, the activation of God. The activation of God is God's going to tell you to do something that man can't understand. That's how you know it's God. That's how you know something taking place and it supersedes the power of what any man can do. That's God. So most people don't get to that level because most people play around with God. They lukewarm. So they don't have any faith. This is most people. So most people believe, and it's sad, most folks believe in their chair more than they believe in God. Most people wake up in the morning and start their car up. They got more faith that if their car doesn't start up, most folks would be shocked if their car didn't start up. Most folks have more faith in a car, Most people go see a chair and sit down. They don't even think about it. I was just in the gym working out. I got on the bench on the weight bench. Didn't even think about it. I sat on every chair or weight bench or whatever and didn't even think about it holding me up. We got more faith in inanimate objects than we do in God. Think about it. When the phone and our phone doesn't work, when our computer doesn't work, when the things that aren't even real or alive don't work, we are shocked. We have faith in inanimate objects all the time, every day. Chairs, cars, even restaurants. You go to McDonald's, you got more faith in McDonald's, and when you order your food off that menu, you can't even see the food they cooking. All you have is you got more faith on a menu from McDonald's than you do in God. We got blind faith with things of the world. You go to McDonald's, you shouldn't be eating McDonald's anyway. You shouldn't even be eating it. But right. Somebody mentioned when they cancel your flight. We got more faith in airlines. We got more faith in this system than we do in God. We don't believe God unconditionally. We don't believe God with all our heart. We believe God with parameters. You'll go to a fast food restaurant, look at the menu, and if you got to the window and those folks told you that they didn't have your food at all, it would be a big deal. We got faith in the world. So the problem is that our faith in the world is much greater than our faith in God. And that's really our problem. That's why when you see the giants, you're afraid to engage. When you see the things that are, and most people are doing this, most folks know this stuff is going on and it's crazy, but most folks don't want to engage. Most folks don't want to engage. So let me go to this guy. And this is the guy that's with. Okay, so this is Klaus Schwab's right-hand man, Uri. And Uri is going to talk about how he feels about God. But I'm going to just say this too, though. If you're engaging in a fight and it doesn't require faith, then it's not really a fight. This is why the Bible says we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the rulers of darkness, against wickedness in high places. This is what we fight against. So if it doesn't require faith, it's not really a real battle. The real battles require faith. If you listen, I listen to pimps and prostitutes a lot, because pimps and prostitutes, those are gonna sound crazy, but they actually understand life the best. Because in a pimp and prostitute world, they deal with the basic nature of humanity. They deal with the lowest level of humanity. So they don't have any of that other stuff. They deal with the pure carnality of man and woman in the selling of the body game, the pimping and what they call hoeing. But if you listen to them though, their outlook on life is very matter of fact, not lukewarm at all. They are convicted by the principles they live by. If you talk to a pimp or a prostitute, they are convicted by their principles. I'm not saying it's right or righteous. I'm just saying if you talk to them, they have conviction. That's why when you speak to them, they're not confused about what's going on in life. They're not, because they deal with this woman right here, this man right here. Break down that relationship, it's going to break all the way down to the physical. It's going to break all the way down to the physical. And not just the physical, but also the mental part of the physical. So usually the prostitute gives the pimp her mind, her body, and her spirit. The pimp has to give the woman the same thing. Most folks don't realize that. There's no way you could engage in that lifestyle if each person wasn't given their all to the cause. That's the only way it works. This is why when you talk to them, their views on life aren't really skewed at all. Now, I'm not saying what they're doing is right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying how they view life is pretty pragmatic. If you talk to them, there was a lot of them that end up going and become believers. They are 1,000% for God. They don't play around. Like the folks that I know that was in that life and changed their life and went to God, they're 1,000% because they apply the same principles. They all in. But anyway, but if the fight doesn't involve faith, it's not really a fight at all. And so I brought them up to just talk about being convicted and what conviction sounds like. And so when you hear a pimp even speaking, he's talking because he's speaking with conviction. When you hear the prostitute talking, she's talking because she's talking with conviction. This is why God prefers you to be hot or cold, because if you're hot or cold, then God can use you. God can't use you when you lukewarm, because you lukewarm means you try to play both sides of the fence. You know, try to play both sides of the fence. I had an uncle that was a pimp too. May he rest in peace. But the people that God wants are people that are convicted. That's what the lukewarm scripture is about. Conviction. Like, what are you willing to die for? There's prostitutes that are willing to die for the pimp. But guess what? The pimp got to be willing to die for the prostitute. It's a symbiotic relationship. And from the outside, it doesn't seem like it. But on the inside, but you look at the inside, it is. Because both parties are convicted about what they're doing. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that conviction is what God is looking for, but that conviction is necessary for our survival. Somebody said, yes, soft, light underbelly. Yes. It is. Somebody said that most pimps make great preachers. Yeah, because pimps know what to tap into. Because again, they deal with think about it. Pimps and prostitutes deal with the non-facade version of life. They deal with the non-facade version of a person. So when they're speaking to people, they're already talking past the exterior. Think about it. In that world, when they're speaking to people, they're already talking past all this other. They talking to the core of the person. So if the prostitute or the escort talking to a guy, she's talking to him she's talking past his education, past his career, past his money. She's talking to the core of the person. And vice versa with the pimp. So again, what I'm saying is that same mindset, though, is what we apply to the faith, and that we are convicted. That means when you look at a pimp stands out. A prostitute, they walk different, they talk different. That's how we should be. How we blending in with the world, but the pimps and the hoes ain't. That's a problem. You see, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, right? The movie. When dude got out of jail, he had the flat, the high, the stacks with the fish tank on the bottom, the yellow suit with the leopard. He stood out. He looked crazy. That's how we should look to the world. We should be standing out. How are we blending in? I'll tell you how. We don't have any conviction. Because when you conviction, you stand out. Because when you convicted, people can smell it, they can see it. I am Lenny B. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Yes, pimps make good, but, and again, it is a gift. And again, we all have gifts, but a lot of times our gifts get perverted when we get into this world, and once we take our focus off of God, the gifts already get perverted. So the gift gets perverted once we take our eyes off of God. I don't care what gift you have. Once you do like this, the gift's gonna get perverted. Because to the world, you're still a shining light, so they want to be part of that light. You know. Let me play this guy. So anyway, this is the right hand man. I want you all to hear what he says. And just to let you know that the people that are doing this, how they feel about God. And so how they feel about God is how they're going to feel about you. You know, most of these evil and wicked regimes despise God because they know if God is around, people are not going to choose them. So what man has done is man has tried to make himself or herself God to make somebody look at them versus God. But let's listen to your boy right here talking.
Homo sapiens is the only animal that can talk about things that don't really exist. Churches are rooted in common religious myth about God and heaven. States are rooted in common national myth. Business corporations are rooted in common economic myth about money, stocks, and the corporations themselves. Judicial systems are also rooted in myth, in common legal myth about justice and human rights.
So I'm gonna replay this again, but you heard him. He said that churches are built on religious myths. So then he goes on to say society, basically economics. So everything is a myth, meaning that all of what you all doing is false. So that means that he and his henchmen have the key for you all salvation. This is man playing God. But just to let you all know, they don't like believers at all. So they actually hate believers. And as you're going to see why, because they know if a person is truly a believer, they're not going to follow their system. Cole said change 400.
Are rooted in don't really exist. Only animal that can Homo sapiens is the only animal that can talk about things that don't really exist. Churches.
Now, notice he said, now God created man and woman. He's saying Homo sapiens are animals. You got Homo erectus, you got Homo sapiens, so he's saying Homo sapiens are animals. So he's not even putting you on a human even level. He's putting you on an animal level. And if you're an animal, that means he has the right to control you. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy was a lizard underneath this. Because the way he talks, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a lizard underneath this. But anyway, let's continue.
Are rooted in common religious myth about God and heaven. States are rooted in common national myth. Business corporations are rooted in common economic myth about money, stocks, and the corporations themselves. Judicial systems are also rooted in myth, in common legal myth about justice and human rights. Yet, in truth, there are no gods in the universe, no nations, no corporations, no money, and no human rights and no justice outside the common imagination of us human beings. human beings. Outside the common imagination, no human rights and no corporations, no money, universe, no nations. Truth, there are no gods in the universe, no nations, no corporations, no money, and no human rights and no justice outside the common imagination of us human beings.
Yuval Harari.
So he basically just said that God doesn't exist. Countries don't exist. Nothing exists outside the imagination of human beings. So again, if he believes that, then what is his plans for human beings? If he believes that none of this stuff really exists, that means he plans on implementing something for the human beings. Now you see what we up against. Thank you, Bree Bree, for the super sticker. I'm gonna pin Cole's comment pretty soon. But so these people, this guy right here, he don't believe in human rights. He don't believe that there's a God. So my question is, if he don't believe there's a God, and he don't believe in human rights, and he don't believe in laws, and he don't believe in money, what does he believe in? What does he believe in? And these are the guys pulling the strings. I mean, they're the puppets of the people pulling the strings, but he's telling you what the elites are saying. What's up, Edna? But he said there's no God. Now it's crazy that the same person telling you there's no God is the same person telling you get a snake bite. Imagine all these folks lining up, all these churches being a part of it, all your friends and family, all these corporations, all these athletes, entertainers, all these who's, all these lay persons, professionals. Imagine all these people lining up for something that a guy that doesn't believe in God is endorsing. Imagine a person tells you, I don't believe in God or human rights, but take this. This man said, I don't believe in God nor your human rights, but you better take this. They played an evil and wicked game with the people, and the only way they had access to you is because somewhere along that line, you was compromised. You was engaging in bad behavior somewhere that you didn't check. You had some unchecked desires. You was doing something because the summation of who you were came about when it came to the snake bite. So your life experiences to make you say, okay, give me that one and give me this one, and that's a summation of who you are in your life. And so these people are banking on most people being decadent. That's what they're banking on. That's why they're going to take away the money, because they know that the love of money is the root of all evil. They said, we're going to take away the money and then make y'all the money. Now what you going to do? Sell your soul. Let's continue.
Thinks big for a living. Not so long ago, he was an obscure history professor, but his 2014 book, Sapiens, changed all that. He explored the past, cramming 150,000 years of human history into 400 pages.
Authority will shift,
Transforming himself into a literary phenomenon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again Yuval Noah Harari.
Name dropped by the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and Barack Obama.
The other book that I really enjoyed, a book by an Israeli author, Yuval Harari.
His follow-up book, Homo Deus tackled the future, elevating Harari to a sort of digital visionary. Now he's back with his take on the present day. His new book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, explores the influence of algorithms on our everyday lives, how artificial intelligence will affect.
Now imagine you interviewing a guy and he tells you there's no God and I don't care about human rights. And you don't say cut the interview. Imagine people fawning over this guy and the guy literally saying, I don't believe in human rights. I believe you're animals. This is how decadent we've become. They made this guy a celebrity, and all this guy really believes in is that you're an animal and he's superior to you. That's all they believe. Like, I'm just, and he's a hero now. Barack Obama, Bill Gates, all of they love him. Isn't it ironic that the guy that say he don't believe in God, his fans are Bill Gates and Obama, whoever else the third person was, obviously Klaus Schwab. It's just, and then when I talk to my people about this kind of stuff, it's the way God set it up. I mean, it's just, it's actually the way this thing is set up is the only solution is God. You got black people that are the people of influence, and most black folks are clueless, but they have the power of influence. Then you got white people, not a lot of them, but I'll say probably a little less than half. Let's say a quarter of white people in America willing to actually fight for the country, right? Then you have Asian people kind of just meandering, just existing pretty much in America. Then you have Hispanics that have the numbers. So we could break it down. We got the influence, we got the fighters, we got the numbers, and then you got the Asians. Maybe they could be with the, I don't know, technology. I don't know. But you got four groups of people. Now, to win, if they all come together, they can win. But they're not going to do it. Because what it takes to come together is going to require you to have to put God first. The way it's set up, there's only one way to do it. That's through, like, there's no other way. No strategy is going to work. Listen. None of this stuff is going to work. It's only going to work when the people come together. I believe that when the Messiah returns, the Messiah is only going to return when the people down here are ready to face the giants. When the people down here say enough is enough, we're willing to die for what we believe in, that's when I believe the Messiah will come back. That's why nobody knows the day. Nobody knows the day because really the Messiah returning depends on who? It depends on us. And once we say enough's enough, that's when Christ is going to return. I believe Christ could return tomorrow if everybody said enough's enough. If everybody says enough's enough, we ain't doing it no more, I believe that Christ will return tomorrow. But we're not going to do it. Many folks got to lose their life, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of casualty, a lot of catastrophe, a lot of stuff got to happen for folks to realize there's only one way to do it, and that's God's way. You see, right now, you think it's more than one way because there's a lot of distractions out here. It's only one way, though. Oh, Chat GPT. Is that what Mr. Holistic was talking about? I talked with him yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to look into the Chat GPT. So, but in the end, the only thing that's going to work is us coming together through God. That's it. And so, none of this stuff is going to work. It's not going to work. I wish it could, but it's not. You're going to have all these folks divided, thinking this way is the right way, this way is the right way, this way, and it's going to be just people gonna be getting slaughtered. It's gonna be just, and then by the time folks realize what it's really about, they ain't gonna have the numbers or the resources. It's tough. Let's continue.
Everyday lives, how artificial intelligence will affect and maybe even replace us.
Oh, my bad, y'all. My bad. What I was saying was, I don't know how I got tricked by Obama. I just didn't know anything, y'all. I'm thinking back now. I didn't know nothing. It's crazy.
The next big projects of humankind will be to overcome old age and death, to find the keys, the secret to happiness, and to basically upgrade humans into gods. This is why the title Homo Deus, God-man. And I don't mean it as a kind of literary metaphor. I mean it in the literal sense that for thousands of years, humans have imagined gods. Humans have imagined gods in a particular way. They ascribed particular abilities and qualities to gods. And we are here in a church, and the walls are full of these descriptions of what God can do. And we are now seriously in the business of acquiring these traditional divine abilities and qualities to ourselves, whether it's trying to overcome death and gain immortality, or whether it's gaining the ability to create and design life according to our wishes. In the Bible, in the book of Genesis, basically the first thing God does is to create animals and plants and humans according to his wishes. We are now trying to gain this divine ability to ourselves. It's very likely that in the 21st century, the main products, the most important products of the human economy will no longer be just vehicles and textiles and food and weapons. The main products will be bodies and brains and minds.
Now, this is the guy that's with the guy that told everybody to get the snake bite. So, imagine black people in this on this chessboard having the influence. That means black folks are going to be used to push all these agendas. Now, this man just said, I want you all to be like gods. Not like gods. He said literal gods. Whose alley is that up? What's the one group of people that call themselves gods? What's the one group of people that call themselves God? I just want to connect this dot for you. The man just said, I'm going to make you all literal gods. Literal gods. Who are the group of people calling themselves gods? So now you got black people calling themselves gods, and then you got this guy telling me, oh, I can make you a god for real. He said atheist. So now you can kind of see how when this thing gets to rolling for real, how black folks are going to be instrumental in this. Black folks are going to be very instrumental in this. Because if he's offering them immortality, and think about it now, when it came to the snake bite, they said, y'all can jump the line. They said black folks can jump the line. It's going to be the same thing with this mark of the beast stuff. Do you want to live forever? You want to be like God? And again, black folks are going to do it by the droves, and then everybody else is going to do it because they're going to say, oh, if black folks are doing it, then it must be safe. Same with the snake bite. Same with everything. Really. White folks didn't start smoking crack till they saw black folks smoking crack. Tell me I'm lying. White folks didn't start smoking crack until they saw black folks smoking crack. Wasn't nobody smoking crack till black folks started smoking crack. Black folks made crack popular for everybody. Now it was a time when there was a whole bunch of different crackheads. Everybody was a crackhead for a moment. They even had, it was a show called the PJs. They even had a crackhead on the cartoon. That's how popular black folks made crack. They put the crackhead in the cartoon. The people of influence. And I give that revelation to Megan McGlover because she's the one that said that. That's where I get that from. And I've been riding with it. And I've been riding with it. But, so, to whom much is given, much is required. So now you see why all this heavy propaganda is pushed on black folks, because black folks are the ones that are going to be used to get everybody else to do it. So what he's talking about here, all this God talk stuff, lines up. There's only one group of people calling themselves gods and goddesses. That's black people. Ain't nobody else doing that. Black folks call themselves gods and goddesses, kings and queens, and the chosen people, and even aliens. So all this stuff fits in the alleyway of this. You're going to see a bunch of black folks that you thought was woke and conscious endorse this stuff right here. I'm telling you. Because they're going to want the power. They're going to want the power. Let's continue.
And in a way, we are even reaching beyond what ancient religions ascribed to the gods. Because the gods, like Jehovah in the Bible, they could create only organic beings. If you're a creationist and you look at the world, so all these animals, all these plants, God created them and they are all organic. Now humans are trying to do better than that. One of the biggest, maybe the biggest problem internally, whether the next big...
You hear what that man said? He didn't mention Allah. He didn't mention Buddha. He didn't mention Confucius. He didn't mention the lady with a whole bunch of arms. He said Jehovah in the Bible. Why did he say Jehovah? Why is his concern the Bible? It's a Quran too, it's a Torah. Why is his concern the Bible? It's really Yehovah. Yehovah. So he said that people can do it better than God. This is what he's saying. Do you know how enticing this is going to be to go to a person that feels marginalized, that feels oppressed? This is why all this propaganda is coming. This is why this propaganda is so heavy. They're doing all this stuff to get folks to get this mark of the beast. Folks thinking they're oppressed. Folks thinking they're the downtrodden of society. Folks thinking all these negative things about themselves. They're not accepted. Nobody wants them. Nobody loves them. They're going to line up for this. Who wouldn't line up to be a god? Who wouldn't line up to be a god? Now, this man just said that God wasn't real. Now he's admitting that Jehovah can only create the living things. Which one is it? You see how they do double speak? He just said in the other video that God wasn't real, only in your imagination. Now he's saying Jehovah can create living things. Which one is it? This the same guy that said get the snake bite, though. It ain't Klaus Schwab, it's this guy right here. He's the mastermind because he's telling you what the evil elites are saying. He's their mouthpiece. Klaus Schwab, yeah, I'm going to cut the lights off. But this guy, he letting you know how they view you. You see, God is the God of the living. That's why God can create living things, because God is a God of the living. So if there's a God of the living, then there's a God of the what? Dead. Satan's mockery of God is technology. That's how Satan competes with God, is through technology. So back in the day, we used to be able to run like the wind, or fly, or walk on water, or perform miracles, or move mountains, or whatever. So in the Bible, it says you move a mountain through faith. Now we got a bulldozer. In the Bible, you walk on water with faith. Now we got jet skis. In the Bible, we can ascend. Now we got airplanes. Satan's mockery of God is technology. This is why he said better than God, because he's saying technology is going to be better than what God created. And if technology is better than what God created, then that means that what they're going to turn you into is going to be better than what God created you as. This is why everybody's under attack for their identity. This is why. Because if you don't know who you are, this is going to sound very appealing. If you don't know whose you are, you'll think you'll belong to them. Because they're going to get on the big stage and say, we care about you, we love you, we want y'all to be like God, we want y'all to never get sick, we want y'all to be able to fly, they're going to do all that. And folks going to line up by the billions to do it. You think the mark of the beast is just going to be about being able to buy or sell? No, it's going to be more than that. Trust me. The mark of the beast will get you to blaspheme against God. The only way you would blaspheme against God is if you felt that you were a God. The only way you would blaspheme against God is if you felt that you were a God, that you were on God's level. Folks are going to line up by the millions. Sorry, billions behind this. So what I'm saying is, now is the time for you all to know who God is and that you are gods. Not that you are gods, know that you are gods, meaning that God, you belong to God. G-O-D apostrophe S. You belong to God. You too many years y'all calling yourselves gods is gotten us nowhere. No more God talk, no more chosen talk. Everybody, my boy said it, everybody, I don't care if you was a captain, sergeant, corporal, whatever, your mentality should always be of a private. You should always have a private's mentality. So even if you can make it to a level where you're walking on water, and you moving mountains, and you healing the sick, and you casting out demons, and you turning wine, the water into wine, you should still think you're a disciple. This is why Yeshua washed the disciples' feet. I'm not bigger than the program. I ain't so big that I can't honor y'all. I can get on my hands and knees and honor y'all. Who's going to do that? Who will have that much humility to be able to walk on water and then in the next scene, you washing somebody's feet? Who has that much character to do that? Oh, I think he's into his ego. It's just too much ego when he's talking. No. Them demons are telling you, don't listen to him. The demons are telling you, don't listen to him. It's a cold game. It's a cold game. It is a cold game. And these people are not playing. This is why the Bible is so important. Because if you read the Bible, you can see where their playbook is coming from. All Satan is doing is saying, I'm trying to make sure on Judgment Day when you come down here, ain't nobody gonna be going with you. Now what you gonna do? You gonna destroy everybody? The enemy is clever. Satan know he can't defeat God. Everybody know they can't defeat God. That ain't his goal. His goal is the same goal he had with Job. I'm going to get Job to curse you. I'm going to get all of humanity to curse you. Then what you going to do? All Satan wants to do is prove God wrong. It's just so petty. That's it. All he wants to do is just prove God. That's all I want to do, is to make you be wrong. Because remember now, if God is wrong, that means God lied. And if God lied, then everything is over. This is Satan's goal, because Satan, if God is wrong, then Satan gets a pass. This is why most people look for the flaws in y'all, because they want to get a pass with you. So they looking to see where y'all fall short, so they ain't got to honor what you're saying. So they ain't got to honor you. So they ain't got to listen to you. That's what they do. Most people look for the chinks in the armor. Most folks look for a way not to give the person complete and utter respect. This is what most folks do. But yet the Messiah could walk on water, could heal the sick, but still said, let me wash y'all feet out of respect. Let me go get baptized by John. Because I ain't above the program. I'm not bigger than what's going on. Even though what I'm about to do is going to save the whole world, I'm still not bigger than what's going on. Who has that kind of character? Since we focused on ego, who has that kind of character? And you got this man right here telling you that we can do it better than God. And I know the decadents and people, they're going to line up for it. This is why it's this big, huge attack on identity. This is why. It's identity. A man is a woman. Children are adults. All this stuff, man, because they trying to get you to get to a point where you say, okay, then what can I be? Who am I? We got you. And if folks gonna get the mark of the beast, they're gonna get it. And guess what? The devil will always give you what you want, but you never be able to enjoy it. So folks gonna get the mark of the beast. I imagine some folks gonna be severely disfigured. Some folks gonna drop dead. It's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff happen. It ain't just gonna be no get the mark of the beast and you look like Superman and Wonder Woman. No. That ain't how Satan works. Satan gonna give it to you. You got powers, but you look like a monster though. Listen, you can fly and all that, but you look hideous and grotesque. Play one more time, this last part.
His wishes, we are now trying to gain this divine ability ourselves. It's very likely that in the 21st century, the main product, the most important products of the human economy will no longer be just vehicles and textiles and food and weapons. The main products will be bodies and brains and minds. And in a way, we are even reaching beyond what ancient religions ascribed to the gods. Because the gods, like Jehovah in the Bible, they could create only organic beings. If you're a creationist and you look at the world, so all these animals, all these plants, God created them and they are all organic. Now humans are trying to do better than that.
Somebody had a great scripture right here. Ava Reste 71, Isaiah 14 and 13. So in Isaiah 14 and 12, it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." This is what Satan had devised. This same spirit is what's going to make people blaspheme against God, because they're going to tell people you're on God's level. You're better than God. What do you think telling women they're equal to men has done? Think about it. This whole feminism push hinges on women being equal. What has it done? What has telling women you equal to a man, what has it done? It's making women want to do what? Be above men. Men and women are meant to be equal. Because there are things that men are meant to do, things that women are meant to do. We're all equal we're all equal in value. Meaning a man isn't more valuable than a woman more valuable than a man, but our roles are different. But if they can get you to believe that you're the same as a man, then eventually you're going to say, you know what? I'm better than a man. Then you go say, when I'm better than a man, and you go from condemning men, then you go from hate to hating men, then there's no more procreation. They got this stuff all mapped out. They got it all mapped out. How they going to do it? Yeah, in that scripture, basically Pontius Pilate said, I'm gonna give these people a choice, and I know they're gonna choose the Messiah. This is what he was thinking, because he didn't want to kill him, so he said, I'm gonna let them choose between the murderer and the Son of God. He thought surely they're gonna choose the Son of God, but he underestimated black folks. I said Pontius Pilate underestimated black folks. So he thought, surely these folks ain't finna pick the murderer. And then black folks said, hold my beer. Matter of fact, black folks said, hold my Hennessy. And they said, we want Barabbas. We want Barabbas. Right. Oh, speaking of, I want you to see this video. And, I believe that not only do we have to come together, but we also got to, find our significant others. For you all that are married and you had a good spouse and y'all married through this Peter pandemic and you made it through and y'all both see eye to eye, that is a blessing. Y'all should be cherishing each other like no other. If you was married and you and your husband, you and your wife saw eye to eye on all this stuff and y'all made it through all this madness, oh my goodness. Y'all were truly blessed, because most of these relationships was built on sand and it was just foolishness. It was just pure foolishness. But for those of us that didn't, we gonna have to find us a husband or a wife. What's the point? Like, what's the point? Now listen, I didn't like that new Matrix movie, but I understood the sentiment in the end, because they gave you the key in the end. And the key was the man and woman coming together. When the man and woman come together, look what gets activated. That's why God said, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. That means God's giving you, so God, give you blessings. And no, when you get a wife, that is a separate level of favor. And I feel like we're going to need that favor when we're going up against the devil. We're going up against the WEF, we're going up against the UN. We're going up against the Chi-Con. We're going to need it. So we're going to have to come together. So if you was able to hold on to your spouse, that is a blessing. I'm telling y'all that right now. But for the rest of us, we're going to have to find our mates. Right. I know it is. Edna, I know it is. I know it's harder. But guess what? It's harder, but we're also better. So so you got to think out like this. If you're better, it's not going to get easier for you. You're better because it's going to get harder. So we're better. I believe, you know, we going to find our mates soon. I believe, I'm thinking 2023 and 2024 is going to be the year. By 2025, you know, folks going to be paired up and ready to go. By 2025, that's what I believe. But, right, China, Russia, NWO, WWE, WWF, all of them coming. Everybody coming. And guess who they coming after? They ain't coming after the sheep. The sheep gonna go to them. Listen, this war we about to be in, it ain't against everybody. Most folks gonna run to them with their hands out. This fight gonna be against us. It's against us. Trust me. You heard what that man said. We gonna be better than God. I'm telling you what's all right. That's right. Claim it. Y'all gonna meet y'all husband this year. Listen, ladies. I got a simple solution for y'all ladies. All you got to do, keep your legs closed. Listen to me. Simple solution for the ladies. Keep your legs closed. Spend time alone with God. Dive into your purpose. And I guarantee you're going to get married this year. I'm telling you. Because the woman's challenge is being still. Sitting still and being quiet and knowing God is. That's the woman's challenge. Sit down and know God is real. Be still. You're going to get a husband easily. Trust me. Because now y'all look like a lighthouse when the ship is coming in. See, when you set yourself apart, it ain't going to be hard to find no man. You already said you like a lighthouse on the hill. When the ship's coming in, they can see it miles away. But when you're doing this, when you're engaging in this, when you effing free and all that, when you blending in. A lot of y'all camouflage because you do the worldly stuff, then you do the godly stuff. No, you blending in. Everybody do that. You got to separate yourself. That's right. Drop the pounds too. Work out. Get to the gym. Ask yourself, say, if I was a man, would I want to be with me? I ask myself that all the time. If I was a woman, would I want to get with me? That's a very humbling question. Because you start evaluating everything. It's very humbling. So you got to listen. So if you want a husband, you got to be a wife. God will not be mocked. That which a man soweth, he shall also reap. So guess what? God ain't going to be mocked. You ain't going to be mocked. Think you're going to be a wife and you're not going to find you? He going to find you. Matter of fact, he's looking for you now. The cold part is he's looking for you now. He's looking for you. You should set yourself apart, though. Set yourself apart. Thank you, Pamela Callahan, for this super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much for blessing me. I know y'all love me because y'all put money in my hands. I know y'all do. A friend of mine said that. But, yeah, y'all gonna find somebody. And listen. You got to put the man first. I know that goes against all the conventional wisdom, but you got to put that man first. The only thing that's going to activate that man to slay that dragon for you is you put him first. You put that man first, he's automatically going to slay the dragon. Automatically. Slay that dragon. I'm giving y'all the keys to get it. So, I'm giving y'all the keys. I don't see what's so hard about putting a man first and he give you the world. To me, that's a very, very fair trade-off. Very fair. Somebody put in, Imagine No Color said God, husband, wife, children, in that order. Exactly. I just saw a video. Now, the person giving the video, let me just get to it. I'm gonna tell you what I liked about it. Now, most folks can't even conceptualize none of this, and I don't even know their relationship. I'm just telling you what this man said spoke volumes to me. And the person in the video is the wife. Although she seems like the husband, she's actually the wife. And she's married to a guy. But, she got that Queen Latifah spirit in her. She got that Missy Elliott spirit in her. Hold on, let me. Okay, here we go.
A divorce even before he told me he ain't love me. And like he said, no, we're not getting a divorce and don't bring it back up. And so on one hand, I'm like, oh man, like he, you know what I'm saying? He really want to be in this marriage with me. Like, okay. And on the other hand, I'm like, hey, you're not finna trap me in this loveless marriage. Like, what you mean? So like, does that mean you gonna like work on it? So like he said, no, we can't get a divorce. And then I go on to hear like I don't love you. And I go on to hear, like how bad our marriage is. But if Corey does not say no, we not getting a divorce, I fully believe with the stubbornness I possessed at that time and with the aggression that I had, that I would have allowed us to get a divorce if it wasn't for my husband's resolve. So even though he could, sit and say he don't love me, just let it be noted that he also told his truth while maintaining his commitment that, no, I don't love you right this second, but I'm also not divorcing you. I asked Corey for a divorce even before he told me he ain't love me. And like he said, no, we're not getting a divorce and don't bring it back up. And so on one hand, I'm like, oh man, like he, you know what I'm saying? He really want to be in this marriage with me. Like, okay. And on the other hand, I'm like, hey, you're not finna trap me in this loveless marriage. Like, what you mean? So like, does that mean you gonna like work on it? So like he said, no, we can't get a divorce. And then I go on to hear like I don't love you. And I go on to hear, like how bad our marriage is. But if Corey does not say no, we not getting a divorce, I fully believe with the stubbornness I possessed at that time and with the aggression that I had, that I would have allowed us to get a divorce if it wasn't for my husband's resolve. So even though he could, sit and say he don't love me, just let it be noted that he also told his truth while maintaining his commitment that, no, I don't love you right this second, but I'm also not divorcing you.
That's honor. That's honor. Now I know, I tell y'all she got that Queen Latifah spirit. Now, but I still, even though she got the stud, the spirit of the ancient stud warrior in her, she still is honoring her husband. So that lets you know the power of marriage. And what the man said was, what the dead or alive, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. And but what he said was, he said, I don't love you, but I'm also not going to divorce you, because me not loving you had nothing to do with the commitment I made under God. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So basically, he's saying, me being committed to you is separate from me loving you. I ain't gotta love you to be committed to you. Dude, that's honor. Do you understand how much character and resolve that takes for a man to say, I made a commitment to you, I'm not gonna break it, even if I don't love you? Most of y'all would say that's torture. Most women would say, girl, he got to love me, and meanwhile the guy that loved you left. All the men that said they loved you was gone. But the one that said he don't love you said he ain't gonna leave you. It's called honor. Because for a man, honor and principles, character outweigh love. That's why the man's supposed to love the woman and the woman supposed to respect the man. Because respect means more to a man than love does. I'm sorry, ladies, it does. And what she did in the moment was she respected her husband. Even when he said he didn't love her, she respected her husband. He said, I don't love you. She respected him. That's going to make him fall back in love with her. Now, you want to get married? Do that. Get told he don't love you, and then get told let him say he don't love you. You say, okay, I'm still staying. And then see how the man act then. It's a scripture. Let me find it for you. It's the same type of thing. It's the same type of thing. Matthew chapter 15. Okay. Verse 22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. But he answered her not a word. His disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cried after us. So basically, she crying to him and he ignores her. His disciples say, man, get her out of here, man. She worrying us. She annoying us. Now imagine how much miracles must have been going on for them to be tired of doing it. Imagine how many folks was getting healed and blessed for them to say, man, get her out of here. Like, they just got blessings for days. Like, anybody can get healed, you know? So their attitude was, man, get out of here. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs. So he said, listen, I've come for the lost sheep of Israel. That's who I came here for. You from the land of Canaan. What you want? So she say, Lord, she ain't got no pride now. Listen, lady, she ain't got no pride. Listen, Lord, she begging, please. My daughter got that devil in her. My daughter got that Cardi B spirit in her. My daughter got that Glorilla spirit in her, Lord. Please. My daughter got that Gabrielle Union spirit in her. Please, dear Lord. Get it out of her. Please. She got that thought demon in her. Lord, please get it. Jesus said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. So don't take listen, you ain't supposed to take the children's food and give it to the dogs. The babies need their nourishment. Right? The babies need their nourishment. So he painted an extreme picture. I'm not taking the children, the food from the babies and giving it to the dogs. Now look what she said. And she said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. This man just called her a dog. Ushers, guard the door. This man just called this woman a dog. Thank you, Edna. Thank you. Thank you, Edna. Thank you. This man just called this woman a dog. He said it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs. So he's making a comparison of the children of Israel, I spoke about earlier, children of Israel and dogs, everybody else. She don't get offended though. And she said truth. So she said, you're right. And she said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. I ain't asking for a lot, dear Lord. I'm recognizing how powerful you are. I'm just asking for a crumb. I ain't asking for a meal. I don't want my daughter to get healed. I get the mansion and the donkey and the horse and the goats. I'm just asking for my daughter to get that Glorilla spirit up out of her. That's all I'm asking. Then Jesus answered unto her and said, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. Do you see how powerful it is to control your emotions? To not get offended when somebody tells you the truth? Do you see how powerful it is for you not to get in your feelings when somebody tells you the truth about yourself? That woman said, you're right. But even the dogs can get some crumbs from the master's table. Even when she's supposed to be offended, she still gave him reverence. What manner of woman is this? Woman, your daughter is healed. She wasn't from the tribe of Judah. She wasn't from the house of Israel. She from the land of Canaan. Your daughter is healed. Because instead of cursing the man, instead of talking back to the man, you honored the man because he told you the truth. Now your daughter got that Glorilla, Cardi B, Meg the Donkey spirit up out of her body. Your daughter is saved. Your daughter ain't saved because your daughter saved herself. Your daughter ain't saved because Christ even did it. Your daughter is saved because you had enough faith and conviction to not let your emotions get in the way of why you went there in the first place. That's why your daughter was healed, because of your faith. But part of you having faith is also you being out of your feelings, getting out your emotions. And when somebody calls you a dog, you don't get offended. You say you're right. Because I imagine she probably didn't even deserve none of this. But she said, let me humble myself in front of this great man. And that her daughter was healed in that very hour. Her daughter was healed. It didn't tarry a long time. It didn't take months. She didn't go through the Cardi B rehab. She didn't go through the Meg Thee Stallion rehab, the Glorilla rehab. She didn't go through, it was in that very hour she was healed. That moment she was healed. That's how God works. We too busy being emotional, being in our feelings, getting offended. So what if he called you a dog? So what? You got called a dog, and in the end result was your daughter gets healed. Was it worth it? And he didn't call her a dog in the end. He said, "O woman, great is thy faith." He exalted her. He praised her. You got great faith. Then he said, "Be it unto thee even as thou wilt." Not mine, yours. Your daughter healed because of you. That was a test for this woman. This changed her whole life. She probably found a husband and everything. That's how you find a husband, ladies. That's how you get a husband. Just when a man is speaking to you, a righteous man, you don't get offended by the truth. You accept it. And I guarantee the righteous man is going to honor that. Like Christ honored this woman. He told that woman, "I come for the children of Israel." It was almost like I don't even know why you even over here. He had the bougie on her. Y'all didn't know Yeshua was bougie? Thank you so much, Edna. You said, "I think I'm going to make bread being an online relationship coach." I appreciate it. Listen, y'all, I'm going to do that class too. That the brides, I might call it the Blanche's Brides for Boaz class. I'm going to do it on Zoom though. Thank you, Sneakerhead, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. But my point is to you all is that ladies, when you have a righteous man in your presence, this is what he's going to honor. He's going to honor this type of woman that is humble. This woman went from getting stunted on first. You a Canaanite. We don't deal with y'all. Then she got called a dog. Then he said, "Oh, woman of great faith." Now this woman done proved to herself that her level of faith, she can really move a mountain because her faith got her daughter healed. Y'all understand what I'm telling y'all? In this whole relationship thing, how you gonna get a man? Didn't I tell y'all that if you honor the man, If you humble yourself in front of the man, he gonna give you everything. Somebody said, thank you, B Sneakerhead. Thank you, BC Sneakerhead, again for the super chat, super sticker. I mean, somebody said, so who wants to be my husband? My cuffing season just started and I listened. What's up? That's funny. But listen, y'all. It ain't just about listening to a man. That's not what it's just about. It's not what it's just about. It's about honoring the man. Every man ain't meant to be listened to. Every man ain't meant to be engaged with. I'm talking about the man that you deem worthy. He needs to have your full reverence. That guy needs to have your full reverence. Y'all didn't know that Christ was bougie, huh? Christ said, I come from the house of Israel. I don't know what you... Listen, I can't even imagine the look. She was like, just imagine, because you running. But what he did, he taught her a lesson. He taught her humility. He taught her faith. So maybe faith also comes by us being humble. Maybe when you humble yourself, you'll realize that you can only do it through God. That's what activates your faith. When you humble yourself and realize, I can only do this through God. Now your faith is activated. That's all you got. You see, most of us, we got somebody over here that can help us. We got somebody over here that can help us. We can activate our faith. I'm talking about when all you got is your faith. All she had was her faith. She didn't have nothing else. Wasn't no doctor on call. Wasn't nobody there to cast out that demon. All she had was her faith. That's why it happened so fast. She didn't have no plan B. If this don't work, my daughter's going to be a thought forever. If this don't work, my daughter's going to be for the streets. Or back in them days, the dirt road. If this don't work, my daughter is going to be for the dirt roads. Thank you, Chris. Oh, my bad, Chris. I'm so slow. Thank you, Christy, for the super sticker. Thank you so much, Chris. Like Chris style. Thank you, Christy, for the super sticker. Thank you. I'm seeing some scriptures in here. Let me go to James 4. Y'all got to honor that man. You got to put that man first. James 4:10 says, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Amen. Look, that's what he did. He lifted her up. He honored, listen to me. That woman showed humility. She showed grace. She showed class. And he honored that woman. That's what a righteous man is going to do. He didn't stun on her. He honored her. This man in this video said, I don't love you, but I'm not going to forsake you. I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to stay committed. Even though I'm telling you I don't love you right now, I'm not going to leave. That is honor. That is commitment. It's actually godly, divine. It's actually divine to do it. We be spitting in God's face and God say, I'm still going to love him. It's actually a divine attribute to be committed to someone even when you don't even love them. Even when everything is saying, leave your wife, go have a happy life without her, you saying, nah, I ain't gonna leave. And he said, and don't bring it up again. It ain't even an option. I don't care how bad the marriage is. I don't care if you don't love me and I don't love you. We ain't stopping nothing. That's called honor. How many of y'all got it? Man, Jaheim said, put that woman first, then all his hair fell out. I ain't listening to Jaheim, man. I ain't listening to Jaheim. Let me go to this next and this last one. We done.
Everything he wants. Is it having his... bath ready when he comes home. Like, what is it? I think that has to be really redefined, but I'm not down for that. You won't get me to be submissive. There are things that I'll give and take in a relationship, but to be completely submissive.
That's compromise.
Like, even the word obey when you're getting married in a marriage vow, you say obey, but...
Notice that everything she said, notice that the things they say when it comes to submissive are automatically negative and conflated. What does it mean? You actually have to prepare a meal for your man every day? Well, you got to eat 2 or 3 times a day. Understand, these are the same women who would talk about they wanted children, but you got no problem. Who's going to cook for the kids?
What is submissive? Is it cooking everything he wants? Is it having his, bath ready when he comes home? Like, what is it? I think that has to be really redefined, but I'm not down for that. You won't get me to be submissive. There are things that I'll give and take in a relationship, but to be completely submissive.
That's compromise.
Like, even the word obey when you're getting married in a marriage vow, you say obey, but...
Notice that everything she said...
You see, you can tell if a woman is righteous based on what she says when she opens her mouth. Why wouldn't you want to submit to your husband? Like, to me, it should be a no-brainer. Like, it should be automatic. Like, why would you marry a man you're not going to submit to? You don't like the word obey. Let's see what the scripture says. Let's see what the scripture says. The scripture says, verse 21, Ephesians 5, verse 21 says, let's go to 21st. Giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. You do know, ladies, that when you submit to a man, he's already submitted to you because he's submitted in leading you. So if he's already taken the mantle to lead you, that means he's already submitted to you. That means he's putting his well-being behind yours because he has to lead you and take the brunt of everything. So he's already submitted. He's already the man's already submitted to the marriage. He's submitted to the home. The man had already submitted to a whole bunch of stuff. The Bible says, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So it's wisdom for you all to submit to each other. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. I told you all that you're going to honor God through your relationship with your husband, ladies. He ain't my God. You're going to honor God in your relationship with your husband. You're supposed to give your husband the same reverence that you give God. That sounds bad, don't it? That sounds bad, don't it? To give your husband the same reverence that you give God. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. So while y'all are crying about submission, the man got to get on the cross for y'all. All you got to do is submit. He got to go get on the cross. I'm going to say it again. All y'all got to do is submit. He got to go get on the cross. But I can tell this woman in here, the girl Fancy from the Jamie Foxx show, I forgot her name, but I can tell she been with foolish men. You see, when you with foolish men, submission becomes a bad word. When you with foolish men, submission is like a horror movie. That's her fault, though. Excuse me. That's her fault. That's her name. Garcelle. I think she Haitian. But that's what happens. And so what women do is they give it all these foolish men. And then when these concepts come up, they say, oh, I can't apply them concepts because these men are foolish. Yeah, you shouldn't have been with them. Shouldn't have got with them. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he may sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Look what the man got to do. Wives, submit to your husband. The man got to get on the cross. The man got to present you as a perfect, something holy and without blemish. And I got to love my body as I love your. They ain't gonna listen. They ain't gonna never read the whole chapter because there's too much accountability involved. You know, most men don't like it because most men don't want to do this. This is why most marriages are going to end up being dissolved, because most men don't want to do this. They don't want to do it. That's why I said my body is not my body. My body is my wife's body. Your body is your husband's body. So even now, you're not even married, your body belongs to your spouse that you don't even have yet. When I meet my wife, I got to ask for forgiveness. Forgive me for being a whoremonger in these streets. Forgive me for giving my body away to these women in these streets Forgive me for my sexual immorality. I got to ask for forgiveness. This is what the man is tasked to do. But ladies, when you deal with foolish men, you'll never see this. And what y'all do is y'all submit to the foolish man, then it becomes hard to submit to God. Because the foolish man you submitted to sounds the opposite of what God is talking about. This is why I said sit down and be still and know that God is real. So are men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Notice that the man's portion is so detailed and so much more extensive. It told women to submit. The man is the lead. The man's the head of the household. And women submit. Y'all got about 2 lines. The men, we on the 10th verse for the men. Women got 2 lines and they complaining. The men got 10. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished it and cherished it, and even as the Lord the church. So the man, he was supposed to nourish and cherish the woman. God, and y'all can't do the submission? Edna said, I don't even hear black love no more. I know you don't. Because it wasn't never real in the first place. Once they put black in front of love, it went out of business. Once love became a black-owned business, it went out of business. Poor customer service. They ain't never got no product. Black love is horrible. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and the two shall be one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. This is the great mystery. Right. What does submission even look like, ladies? I'll tell you what it looks like. You ever been on a team and the coach subbed you out the game and you didn't want to leave the court, but you left anyway and you sat on the bench? And when your teammate that replaced you scored, you cheered? That's called submission. That's submitting to the coach. That's submitting to the team. And that's submitting to the goal. Because submission is you taking yourself out of the equation. I'm up under the mission. I'm submitting to the mission that the man has. So if it aligns with the mission, I'm on board with it. If what he's asking me to do aligns with the mission, then I'm all on board. I'm all on board. No questions asked. If it lines up with the mission, you all on. That's submission. You up under the mission. Ain't no picking and choosing. So if the man's walking in his purpose and he's a man of God, and you know he's hearing from God, you know he's following God, then guess what? That's what you submit to. But you learn submission in sports because sports teach you how to be goal oriented. Like sports teach you how to make it bigger than you. It's outside. We trying to win. So what can I do to help us win? But guess what? It's the same thing in a marriage. What can I do to help us win? Even in a friendship. What can I do to help us? Even on a job. What can I do to help us win? So you submitting to the mission. She talking about, I ain't got to cook every day. Guess what? You're going to be single then. And we're going to see her 20 years from now talking about, it was me. I should have been more home. Come on, man. Y'all know how this story ends. Y'all know how this story ends. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence the husband. Now you done seen a whole chapter talking about what the man, how the man's supposed to love the wife. Y'all got 2 lines. Submit and respect. That's I don't know what y'all complaining. I'm sorry. I don't. The man got to provide, guide, and assume all the responsibility. All you got to do is submit to that. I don't understand why it's even a difficult trade-off. Neek said, when you have poor sportsmanship and disrespectful to your teammates, how can you win? Exactly. And that's really what it is. It's poor sportsmanship because guess what? You don't really plan on winning. So you got to understand something. This for men and women. You got to get with somebody that plans on winning. That when they talk to you, you hear a winner's dialect. You hear a winner's speech. When they talking to you, it's like they want to win. I'm going to win. And then the I'm going to win individually goes into what? We're going to win. The man obtains, ladies, the man obtains favor if you're a wife and he finds you. That means that favor. If the man finds favor, if God said, I'm giving you a special favor for finding this woman, that means, ladies, y'all get favor too, because the man y'all get the man and the favor. I don't know what the complaining is about. I don't listen. I'm sorry. Right. Why should we hire you? Why should I wife you? That is a valid question. Or even a woman asking, what makes you qualified to lead me? These are valid questions to ask. We should be asking the tough questions. Listen, ladies, I don't care what this world tells you. There are only 2 types of men. Wise and foolish. If he's in between wise and foolish, he's foolish. 2 types. So what you got to do is stop giving yourself to these unwise and unrighteous men. Because what you're doing is you're jading yourself. And it's making you think that these qualities are not important. And they are. Stop giving yourself to unqualified men. This is why I said go sit down and be still. Somebody said it's difficult because their mamas never submitted to anything righteous, occasional exceptions, but by and large, outside of team sports, submission is a lost art form. It is. Because I would venture to say that most people don't really have a life's mission. So most folks can't even require submission. Most men out here are just living. They have goals in life, but do they really have a purpose? That's something that's different. He has a career, but does he have a purpose? So I can tell you right now, if you follow a guy that has a career, he's going to lead you down to the wrong path. Who is the man that has a purpose? Ladies, y'all should ask any man that's trying to entertain you, what is your purpose? And if he can't tell you, then chuck up the deuces. Because if he's trying to date you, he should know his purpose. But you know why? Because that means he's picking you because you align with his purpose. So a man picking a woman and he doesn't have a purpose is out of order. This is why this stuff's not working out here. If the man has a purpose, he's picking the woman to complement his purpose. If she doesn't complement his purpose, then he should not pick her. So if he's coming up to you ladies and telling you he wants to be with you, but doesn't know his purpose, you know right there he's a foolish man. You should walk the other way. But if you pick the man though, ladies, you got to submit to the man. Because you're going to submit anyway. Even if you give that man pure hell, at some point in time, you're going to lay down and you are going to sleep with him. So you're going to submit to that man eventually, one way or another. So, hold on. Neek said, I had a man I was in love with, gave him the utmost respect, and he disrespected me in the worst way. I was done letting him step all over me. Again, you got a wise man, you got a foolish man. The foolish man is going to keep up the charades. He's going to keep up the circus. The foolish man is all about the trickery and deception and illusion. The wise man ain't playing no games. The wise man's going to tell you exactly who he is and what he expects and where he's going. And the wise man's going to honor, the righteous man's going to honor, the prudent man's going to honor your body. He's not going to sleep with you because he's going to know that if it doesn't work out, then I didn't defile this woman's body for the next man. Something like how Boaz did. Boaz didn't sleep with that woman. Boaz didn't sleep with her. Boaz was older. Boaz was older, but he looked good for his age. So Boaz was like, nah, I ain't gonna sleep with you. Need you a young man. Go find you a young man. Start a family with him. Boaz honorable. I ain't gonna sleep with you. Even though they bought you, I'm not gonna do it. That's called a righteous and honorable man. I'm not gonna do it. You ain't my wife. So anyway, thank y'all for listening tonight. I love y'all. Ladies, I want you all to work on submission. I want you all to work on putting the team's goals above your own. I want you all to work on yourselves in preparation for a husband. Start working on yourselves in preparation for your husband. So that means you got to go to the gym. You need to go to the gym because guess what? It's what your husband will want you to do. Put yourself in that mindset. Put them donuts down. Put them little Debbies down. Get your mind right. Put yourself in the mindset of doing things for the team, your husband. That starts now. It shouldn't be no sex. Wait until, I'm telling y'all, it don't take long. y'all gonna stick out like a good thumb, not a sore thumb, but a good thumb. Trust me, if you preserve yourself, the man is going to y'all gonna be like a shining light. Somebody said it's the chips. Don't eat the chips. Fast. And for the men, same thing. You start thinking about doing things for your wife. You get yourself in the mindset of, I'm doing this, thinking about my family, my wife. I put myself in the habit of that, of doing stuff now, thinking about a wife and a family. Do I get this truck? Do I get this car? Do I do this? I'm thinking about. You know what's crazy? I was looking at this two-seater, and I just thought about it. Only two folks can fit in the car, really. I said, I can't get no two-seater. I'm just getting my mind and just even thinking about the team, thinking about my wife, thinking about my children, just thinking about it. So now I'm making decisions thinking about my future. Same thing, ladies. So you know you can't go into these spots. You can't be with these type of, because guess what? It's going to be a bad blemish. Think about your husband's reputation. You all in the streets. Come on, man. You're going to make him look bad. Don't do him like that. It's better. It's a better story for you to say, for folks to say, I remember when she used to be like this, than for them to say, I just saw her last week. Let the people say, this woman did a complete one. You got a good woman. She did a complete 180. You'd rather the people say that than the people say she was in the spot last week. So ladies, where you go matters. Who you giving your time to matters. What you engage in matters. It matters for the husband you ain't even met yet. And fellas, the same thing. What we do matters. It matters. Because we got to be prepared to be husbands and leaders of families. That takes a training and growth. That's a process. That starts today. Started yesterday. So if it's he who findeth the wife, that means he already got to be a husband. Looking for a wife. So that means you a husband, you done mastered this thing out here in these streets. You done mastered it. You done mastered this little game out here, it's been mastered. Because now you done got to the level where you can find a wife. You done reached you like the Shaolin monk, the Shaolin Kung Fu masters. You done reached that level now. Now you can go find you a wife. But you got to get there first. When you picking a wife, when you get to that level, now you picking a wife on qualities that a wife should possess, that a mother should have. You're not being led by your loins because you ain't sleeping with her. Or the Subaru. I've been looking at the Subaru SUVs, some of the big Subarus. I've been looking. But listen, y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. We went long tonight, but I thank y'all. I feel like it was worth it. I'll be back probably on Sunday, maybe. But I just thank y'all. Thank y'all for the super stickers. Thank y'all for y'all ears. Thank y'all for y'all comments. Right, dropping all this coin, being led by them loins. Right. So again, ladies, if you want to get married, you can be married. It's up to you. And fellas, you know what it takes. You know what it takes already. So we got our task put in front of us. But again, we gonna win. That got to be the mindset every day. We are going to win. That has to be the mindset. Because when them giants show up, we got to have that attitude of we got the victory. It has to be your mindset. And it ain't that we got it. We got it because who? We got it because we obey God. We submitted. We believe. We got faith. That's why we gonna win. It ain't because of us. That is our mindset. We are going to win. At the end of the day, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. And I will see y'all soon. Good night.